It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock.
Welcome back to Declare Your Independence with me, Ernest Hancock. My very, very, very special guest, Susanne Dahlgren from Helsinki, Finland. You know, helping us understand what's going on in Yemen. Every chance we get, we need to understand. We got all kinds of deployments everywhere else, and I'm wondering why we're so worried about over there when we got here. And, and to help us understand that, Susanne, she's a PhD in anthropology from the University of Helsinki. And she spent some time at a younger age in Yemen. So she has. Do you speak Arabic, Susanne?
Yes, I do. Yes, and but it's not only in my youth that I spent time in Yemen. I have been there regularly, sort of on and off.
Well, you've seen it from a younger age, and you go through the time now. How has it changed? What has happened in Yemen over the past decades that you think we should know about?
Well, first of all, South Yemen was gained its independence in '67. It was a British colony before that, and they had a progressive government after that. They gave women freedom and liberation, and there was a fair rule at that time. But then they joined North Yemen in 1990, and then the problem started in the south, and it hasn't been a very sort of happy union.
Well, this union, when you say, was there a Yemen before South Yemen? I mean, explain that to me, because we have a British colonized, controlled, governed, whatever area. Yemen says, okay, South Yemen said, we're free of you now. When did the other Yemen get added? How did that happen? Give us the chronology of
that. North Yemen was a very isolated country until 1960s, when it was ruled by imams, and they had a revolution in the 1960s, and after that they came sort of military technocrat rule, which the current president Saleh is a sort of part of that legacy. So there were these two countries which were quite different in history and in culture, you can say.
Well, that was due to what? The United States, Western influence, that they brought these guys together. They need to, combine them. It's easier to control them if we're all one. I'm wondering why they were combined into one country.
But both countries were at that time having serious economical problems. So I think that's one of the reasons why they had to sort of go together. South Yemen had been supported by Soviet Union, and by that time Soviet Union collapsed itself. So there was no support coming from that direction anymore. So and in North Yemen the problem was also economics, that they simply sort of needed to do something in order to get the country into feet.
Why are they seen as anti-American? I mean, I can think of a gazillion reasons, but I'm just wondering, why are we focused on Yemen, or why is Yemen focused against the United States or the Western powers? Is there the animosity? The source of that is what?
Well, it's not the people in Yemen who are against the U.S. It's the fact that there is Al Qaeda in the Yemeni territory, which the Yemeni president has more or less sort of given free access to operate from there. So that's the reason why Americans are interested in Yemen.
Well, why would leadership there want them to be on their soil? His benefit is what? They give him cash? What?
Yes, his benefit has been huge military support from both U.S. and Britain, and also training of special anti-terror forces, which currently is using against the demonstrators there.
Okay, so let me go ahead and get this clear so we understand. We have Al-Qaeda, they're saying there's terrorists in Yemen. Terrorists, got to get the terrorists. The government there is being supported by the United States and other countries and giving them training, weapons, whatever, and logistical support and so on. And the government in Yemen is not supportive of Al-Qaeda, or they are, or some are, or aren't. I need to get the breakdown of how Yemen is, where the support for the terrorists being in Yemen coming from. And if they're not supported by the Yemenis government, then their government is saying, yeah, U.S., go drone attack them all you want. I mean, give me a layout here. Who's supporting the supposed terrorist in Yemen?
Well, that's the interesting question, really, because at the same time, the government is fighting Al-Qaeda there, but then at the same time, there's evidence that they have, at the same time, they have released from prison convicted terrorists, and it's a kind of game that President Saleh is famous for, that he's sort of playing different opponents of himself against each other in order to rule.
So in the end, where is it going? I mean, we have this Arab Spring thing going on. We're going to have the European summer and American winter. I mean, it's just like this revolution is worldwide for the same reasons, the economics, we're hungry, that kind of thing. In Yemen, how is the standard of living? Are the shops full of food? Are they starving? What's got them into the street?
Well, shops are obviously full of food, but the people, not everybody can afford to buy food. Yemenis are extremely poor. It's the poorest country in the whole Middle East. So economics is one of the reasons behind the demonstrations, for sure.
And why is there such a separation? And what are we looking at? I mean, like when Egypt was going into their problems, we saw that 33% of the population was 14 years of age or younger. We had 40% of the country was living on $4 a day or less. We had food increase, inflation 100% over the last year or more. So I can understand how the poor, man, they're feeling the price increases, and there may be food on the shelves, but they can't afford to get it, as you say. So that tends to get them animated, and they want change. What kind of change? Are they just wanting to take from those that got? Do they want to do away with the government? They want to restructure their economy? And what is it? Are they clear on what they're asking for?
Well, one of the biggest demands of the demonstrators has been to get rid of corruption, and corruption is one of the sort of illnesses that the Yemeni economics is suffering from. And that's obvious. It's the current rule.
We all suffer from corruption here in the United States. And we want to see, did it emanate from us? Does it come from us? Is it just a general government thing? Is it all the Middle East? Or does Yemen have a special kind? And the sources from where? Or what? What's the philosophy? What's the future? Susanne Dahlgren, anthropologist from Helsinki, is going to